So the Houston Rockets, they landed the top 3 pick in the 2022 NBA draft. They're going to be either getting Chet Holmgren, Jabari Smith, or Paladin Carol. Most likely it's going to be Paladin Carol as of right now. I mean, I see the Magic grabbing Jabari Smith with the first pick, and then the Thunder grabbing Chet with the second pick, as they really do need a big man on that team. But Paladin Carol on the Rockets definitely fills in the forward position that we needed. Obviously, having Jae'sean there being 6'4" doesn't really solve too many issues right there. So, bringing Paladin Carol, who is 6'10", 250 pounds, gives us a bigger wing that also can create his own shot and can basically score at a high level. So we're going to go over the Rockets draft today, talking about who they should draft with the 3rd pick and the 17th pick and what they would provide to this team. So what's up? My name is Jae'sean. If you like the video, drop a like below, subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it. Let's get into the video. So Paladin Carol, I think he's definitely going to be an interesting player for the Houston Rockets. 17 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists for the Duke Blue Devils. Played very well. I've seen maybe 1 or 2 games of him live and some, clips of him playing. But nonetheless, I mean, he's still a very interesting prospect, especially on the offensive end too. I mean, I think out of the top 3, he's definitely probably the best shot creating out of all of them, and especially in offense, he's going to be one of the better ones on offense. Defensively, he isn't that much behind, Jabari Smith and Chet Holmgren, but at the same time, defense isn't much of an issue, as he can basically just develop that while you're in the league. So Paladin Carol, he's definitely going to be a good player for the Houston Rockets, fills in with what they need, with Jalen Green and KPJ running the guards. And then I would assume that Jae'Sean stays on the team and then have Paladin Carol at the 4. I'm also assuming that they keep Christian Wood, as I don't really think they're going to get Chet Holmgren. There's really no way and really no reason they should grab Chet Holmgren, as they do have Christian Wood and Alperen Şengün. But I don't know, Paladin Carol, you can even run him at the 5 if you wanted to, just to be a little bit crazy. I think it's a little bit of a stretch because he is 6'10", 250 pounds. Same thing with Christian Wood, but weighs a little bit more. But I don't know, at the same time, Paladin Carol, he could definitely slot in at the 3 if you really want to get crazy, kind of like Jabari Smith. But I don't know, it's definitely an interesting prospect here with Paolo. His offensive game is definitely going to help us in the long run, with Jalen Green being the focal point of the offense. Paolo can definitely be the second option on the team, alongside KPJ, Christian Wood, and Jae'Sean. And I think we're talking about one of the better starting 5s we've seen in a while for the Houston Rockets. I definitely think Jae'Sean definitely stays on the team. Moving back to his true position of the 3 position, I think he definitely would thrive there a little bit better, compared to him being at the 4, because he is 6'4", and, he is a little bit limited in terms of his defense because of his height. So bring Jae'Sean to the 3, and I think we're talking about a good defensive starting 5 right there too, as Paolo isn't all that bad of a defender. Christian Wood, being a below average defender in the post. Jalen Green definitely making strides to become a better defender, and same thing with the KPJ. So looking at the 17th pick right here, definitely an interesting pick right here, because there's a lot of players you can go for, and in my opinion, I think they take Jae'Sean. I think that's how he says his name, Jae'Sean. Coming out of LSU, he averages around 17 points per game, 7 rebounds and 1 assist on around 52% from the field and 36% from 3. I think he would be a great player off the bench for the Houston Rockets. I mean, looking at the bench right now, we don't really have too many players that can score. I mean, we have Eric Gordon, who honestly, he sometimes starts for the Houston Rockets, so I wouldn't even consider him a bench player at all. Josh Christopher, who definitely hasn't gotten enough run yet, but I still believe he's going to be the backup point guard for the future. Usman Garuba, we got all these guys essentially, and at the same time, we don't really have a good scorer off the bench, and I think Jae'Sean could be that guy. So he is a 6'8", 216-pound power forward for the LSU Tigers, and I think he would slot in pretty well. I mean, I've seen some scouting reports on this guy, and from what I've seen initially and what he's able to do on offense, I think he would be pretty valuable. I think he's a pretty big frame for being a 6'8" power forward, and his offensive ability is definitely his biggest selling point for his game. I've seen a lot of plays where he's able to handle the ball at 6'8", 216 pounds. His ability to handle the ball on offense is definitely a big standing point for his game. I think if he's able to do this, especially off the bench, and I think he could be a crucial piece to this Houston Rockets future, and I think honestly, his offensive game is probably his best selling point. Now, in terms of defense and his downsides, defense is really a huge issue for this guy. I mean, not as huge as his other categories, but he definitely can improve on the defensive end. No, nothing too amazing on the defensive end, but nothing too bad. Obviously turnovers and fouls are also going to be a huge issue for this guy. Yeah, so fouling out and turnovers are going to be a huge issue for this guy, but nonetheless, he has a lot of positives. Obviously being a pretty great scorer and having the wingspan and the size needed at the power forward position to play basically almost a small ball 5 if you want to get crazy, kind of like how Jae'sean kind of ran that last year. But I don't know. If you want to get really crazy, you can really run him at the small ball 5 off the bench. But I think the Houston Rockets would probably run Usman Group at the 5 because it makes more sense. So the Houston Rockets, they have a lot of things they need to figure out. And I think Paladin Carol and Jae'sean should be the 2 prospects they should target in the draft, as I think these are the 2 best prospects they can get. Now, obviously, if some of the top guys drop, like Dyson Daniels, I think he would be another great pickup. Jae'sean, I've seen some guys, preach about the Houston Rockets getting him. Usman Dieng, I think that's how you say it, should also be another good look for the Houston Rockets. I think all 3 of these guys plus Jae'sean should be a pretty good look. So hopefully the Houston Rockets, they can make some good moves on the draft. Hopefully, if they do try to trade up for the 2nd pick, I wouldn't be too mad about it. Maybe packaging Christian Wood and the 3rd pick for someone in the 2nd pick. It'd be interesting, but I don't think we really need to move. Being the 3rd pick, we have a lot of flexibility to choose whoever's just left out of the 3. And overall, I think they're going to be pretty great. And in the future, I think the Houston Rockets could definitely be a playing team if they decide to be good. Rafael Stone, I think he's going to build a great roster out of this team. Hopefully, he can make the right moves and go Rockets. In this video, I'm JDC. Peace.